going to go ahead and pull the stream up. We've got more. You guys can introduce more topics in chat, but I'm gonna set up a poll. And ask you guys which of these stories seems the most interesting to you guys. But yeah, we're just hanging out to all this just to die on a random day. Yeah, great point, my friend. Great point. Um, whatever. I am going to, when it is my time, ladies, gentlemen, folks, I will pass away with a cup of coffee in my hand one day. But yeah, it's Sunday, so we're doing like the Sunday news stream, which isn't, it's just nothing too heavy, but I'll put the stories that I'm ready on in chat. And great to see everybody. Will you do a live from the grave? Yeah, who knows? I'll haunt you all very good. No, I'd rather go on vacation. So keep in mind, I can, if you guys want to send some donations or whatever, that's cool, but obviously it is not necessary. Okay. Can we see live decomposition views? We'll probably stop short at that. Yeah, we'll go that far and then we'll stop short at that. I think at this point, I'd have you guys remember that Starbucks coffee from the store. Hello, mate. Hey, Feroz. This is the best British accent I can do. I apologize for not being better, but this is the best accent I can do. I'm sorry, I put a poll up that'll require you to do some reading. Do you mind? The poll up will require you to do some reading to answer the poll question appropriately. I asked you which story you wish to discuss. Pip, pip, cheerio. Hello, governor. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you. Yeah, every single story. And while I'm doing the British accent, yeah, it's a great reminder brought to you by Faraz. Every story is brought to you today by Shell, British Petroleum, and Saudi Aramco. So everything that happens in the world is determined by big oil, big money interests. It's keeping people healthy and happy enough. Hello, Bob. Hello, Governor. Bob the Governor. Hey, French red wine. What's going on? Happy Sunday. Hey, Smokey. Yeah, it's greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. If you guys want to support me on the channel, give charitably and selflessly here or other places, I appreciate it hugely. You guys can also give selfishly here. You can introduce new topics and get your message pinned up on screen. So whatever you guys feel like doing. You guys want to pop up anything $5 and up sticks on screen. So there you guys go. Thank you. Oh, very generous. Thank you so much for the flower. Appreciate it. I love flowers. Oh my gosh. And we got the new hiding. Thank you. Thank you again, Smokey. Very generous. Thank you. Hey, what's good? Hey, Jake. Great to see you. Unlived Hollow. What's going on? Unlive Hollow. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for kicking our stream off. If you guys want to hype the stream with any gem gifts to get us started, that's really helpful. We got a couple. Yeah, it sounds like people want to skip the news today. If you guys haven't heard, Trump anti-money laundering probe, we'll get to that. But yeah, Trump, we'll do the spoiler. We'll do a spoiler, not a spoiler alert. Trump had some accounts closed a couple years back after regulators found money laundering patterns, and the story's breaking again into the public sphere. And then, yeah, LA police, an old story where there was an internal complaint about bigotry and racism. Prosecutors have targeted the officer that reported those crimes. He's now facing felony charges for eavesdropping. So we'll get into that one a little bit too. $1,000, somebody says, hey, that'd be cool. But yeah, that's a little, that tickles my greed bone. That tickles my I don't need that much bone. It gets me about that far. Thanks again for all those drops. Yeah, another dude with TDS. Hey, local neighbor hater. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't mind. You can say anything about me, right? It's a sunny Sunday morning. I'm sipping a cup of coffee here in the United States. And so, hey, whatever you want to say. We got a quote. It looks like an explorer, mountain climber, sadly passed away. And Motiv Ranjit says, a true leader leads from the front, takes responsibility when things go wrong, and gives credit to the team when things go right. Hey, that's great, solid advice, right? I think the right place in our lives to see ourselves as like part of the social organism is a smaller team structure. A smaller team structure when we can depend on people. But yeah, saying, when we give it over to society and say we're a social organism, that I think it breaks our brains a little bit. That's a little bit too large. Guys like Che Guevara, maybe people like Donald Trump see society as an organism that we can control. And so yeah, it's a little nefarious. Hey, we got a couple legends in chat. Cadence, yeah, Cadence Greenlaw, welcome back. Great to see you. So legend number 1, Cadence Greenlaw, returning to the stream for the second time. And then we have CEO of My Time with the cup of coffee. Yeah. I can't resist. There's the coffee. And then, of course, Underboss, Sunday Fun Day. Hey, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, Underboss is really big. Bernie Sanders actually is joining you, right? He's reminding the American people that Donald Trump's not only given trillions in tax cuts to the wealthy, trillions of dollars, right? So a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion. You say a billion 1,000 times. A billion, a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion, a billion. You say a billion 1,000 times, and then you have a trillion. So not only is Donald Trump given $1 trillion of tax cuts to the ultra wealthy, he's also given a billion, 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 billion dollars to Elon Musk. Man, I'd have one of those and I'd have more than I'd ever need forever. And then he also gave a billion, 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 keep going, to Jeff Bezos. And so, yeah, you've got all that kind of stuff. Hey, what's going on, S&P? The U.S. government is bleeding the American people dry. Yep. Yeah. Target the sick, the weak, those without a voice. And at some point who are you going to bump into? You're going to bump into a politician who, is living too much in reality to do hard things, to be honest. Yeah, guys, if let's avoid racialized and ethnic thinking. You guys know how we do. If you guys are not returning, hopefully you guys can be a little bit tiny leadership traits and stuff like that, not set a bad example for people in chat. And that's it. You sound like you watch a lot of CNN. I don't watch too much CNN, right? I think people, once you've seen the news cycles, you followed the news cycles, it's like a skill a little bit. And since I have a politics channel, I try to work on that skill, which is just digesting what's going on in the world without spending an inordinate amount of time, not necessarily writing an essay on everything. Yeah. So somebody compared me to Destiny one day. They said, hey, are you like Destiny? And yeah, my response is, well, we probably have that in common, that we can see news stories. We can see maybe a more in-depth, like ground news write-up or wherever from Reuters or Guardian or something like that, and the investigative pieces, and try to get a feel for what's going on in that story and why it's relevant. Yeah. To be honest, I look like him. Who do I look like? Like Destiny? No, he's got a pew pew behind him. I'm not a big firearm fan, so he also has a larger audience. He probably has stalkers and stuff too, which is weird. I hope I have friends and not stalkers, right? There's a big difference. Somebody says he got cheated by the DNC and taken like a chump. Yeah, I don't know all that. I don't know like that. Yeah, I mean Hassan Piker, I think he sees the devastation in Gaza and Palestine, and it's very easy for him to empathize with that situation. And I don't want to obviously speak for Hassan and his political views or anything like this, but I'm not in, I think accusations that somebody is anti-Israel or whatever, if that's accurate, it's a very strange, right? It's not a football club. It's not a football club. It's identity politics. And it's also super, super understandable that somebody, if you saw your homeland, your people, you saw people like you suffering extreme devastation. It's mothers who can't afford baby formula. It's moms and dads who can't get the house up for their kids and stuff like that. That's really problematic. You don't have any reason to not support Hassan other than being racist and bigoted. Yeah, I mean, the other reason would be neurodivergent, of course, is that I just don't understand what it would mean to support Hassan, right? If I split myself in half and we put something on the table in front of me that we could discuss or talk about or something like that, just, hey, this is one way the world is looking to one of us. That's a different approach. That's definitely a way different approach than we've had in the past. When did middle class communists take over the Democratic Party? I don't know what you mean by middle class communists. If you want me to say it's lower class communists, that's a little funnier. But yeah, the Democratic Party, our labor parties in the United States, our labor parties have been pushing to highlight stories where individuals have been deprived of healthcare, really tragic stories, asked to empathize with things that are happening at this level in society where, yeah, you can know that in places like perhaps Syria or Lebanon or Gaza, especially, where there's devastation, there's not currently a flow of political goods, there's no political goods being produced. Our problems do look like people not getting cancer treatment. Our problems look like people getting evicted in the United States. Below that line, problems look like people that are dying from heat exhaustion in their own homes. It looks like people who can't afford food. So those are all important things. Hey there, Mr. Former high school wrestler. Hey, what's going on? 2026, bop, bop. Boom, boom, boom. Good to see everybody. Shout out to you guys. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, thank you for giving me a chance to show off my wrestling skills. This display, this exhibition of my old athletic feats have been brought to you by Chair. Chair, when you need to not stand up and don't feel like actually exercising, but you used to wrestle in high school. Also brought to you by Coolfee. By Coolfee. I think I'm leaving too many bigots in chat. Yeah, I appreciate support from both the left and the right on the channel. We're one of those places where one of the things I would recommend is if you're looking to draw good comparisons, kind of like Professor Zhang, maybe President Sunday, some of these guys who have good educations, really spend a good time on the stories. The thing I would just bring out is that, yeah, it's really difficult from a place of ideology to draw good comparisons. And so we're a place for everybody. You guys can hopefully hear me. I have compassion, empathy for some of these issues and stuff like this. Eastern Bones, Professor Zhang, I'm dying, bro. Yeah, a lot of people don't like, the really technical critiques will say he's, he's got a very strong Hegelian approach, like a lot of political scientists, and people will accuse him and say, well, he's not a PhD and all this other stuff. And yeah, I think he covers stories well, and people are entitled to draw their conclusions. I think, yeah, for, some people may cite, the strongest criticism critique people might bring up about Professor Zhang. Hey, bottle flip, bottle flip. Hey, what's going on? Please don't spam the chat. Thank you. I'll go ahead and flip the 3-second slow mode on. I'm just going to delete some of these messages, but thank you for that. Yeah, I think the furthest out of bounds I've seen Professor Zhang is just his sort of obsession with Christendom, his obsession with like Christendom in the West and stuff like this. But everybody, you're entitled to your interpretation and stuff like this. I wouldn't say that there's like this Christendom sort of anywhere in the West. I wouldn't admit that, even if it's true. I'm going to go ahead and put the slow mode on and stuff like that too. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. If you're just tuning in, we're a politics channel, politics, philosophy, religion, and just chill, just hanging out too. We just like to chill, guys like us. Podjakars is the GOAT. Tadej Podjakar. Yeah, hey, we've got cycling fans in the chat. I had to get 2 and 2 put back together in my brain real quick to remember what we're talking about. But yeah, he's an absolute monster. You think he's even more talented than people like old Greg LeMond and Lance Armstrong? That's quite the opinion. Quite the opinion. You still have huge shoulders and arms. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the downside of that sort of athletic training, is it forever changes and alters your frame. And so, yeah, I put on weight really fast too. So there's upsides and downsides for anyone if you didn't have the chance to do athletics earlier in your life, there's upsides and downsides. Don't miss out on everything. But yeah, I put on weight really fast as well. Both muscle as well as fat. And I think a big part of that is the fact that I wrestled competitively for a couple years and then kept training afterwards. Hey, Mr. Chicken Sandwich. Probably a lot, right? Probably a lot. I'll probably go take a Sunday morning poop if you're asking in a little bit here. Your opinion was built for you by an algorithm that's unsupported by every time Box and Manosphere podcasters. You're a thinker. You're not a thinker, bro. You don't know what these words mean, and you're obviously not reading. Hey, Eaton Bones, great to see you. Yeah, I hope not, right? My opinion is I don't think I'm better or worse than anyone here in chat. But if it is the case that I can hear like about Donald Trump's new announcement in Iran from yesterday and learn about it faster, I think we can focus in on 1 or 2 stories today, or just hang out, at some point. It'll come up. You guys can check the poll results. If you guys need to refresh the stream, you can check the poll results, like the stream, help support it, consider a donation to the channel. And yeah, thank you, 2026. I appreciate it. And local neighborhood haters better than 98% of the chat. Wow. We'll do a poll on that next, maybe the next poll. We'll see how you're doing. Trump 2028, sleep. Hey, Rob Dog. Yeah. You're a little off, Rob. I don't think the message from Bernie Sanders today and other politicians on the left that Rob Dog you probably hate, or I hope I'm wrong about that. Maybe you just don't like them. I really hope I'm wrong about that. But if we're looking at Trump 2028 messages, I think people are saying, give the president the space when he's trying to conduct his ceasefire. He's trying to take a more diplomatic pathway, right? There's no reason politics should cause the senseless loss of life and the incredible cost, not just of that senseless loss of life, but of military action. I'm from the Southwest U.S., Prince Tech. Great to see you. Great to see you. Politics mixed with social media fried people's brains. Yeah, am I a communist? I would not define myself as a communist. Yeah. I usually wouldn't even say I'm Demsock, but I've been coming around to it. I've been standing up for democratic socialism a little more on stream. Demsock stuff in the US is kind of tough for me to buy, but I do buy some of it. I know it's not the most exciting, but there you go. Hey, Onbach, great to see you. Trump is a dictator worse than Hitler. Yeah, he's been pursuing his social animal, political animal career for some time. And so, yeah, messy desk, right? President Trump, he shows up to the Oval Office. He's got a very clean desk. It's just what he needs in front of him. But in reality, he's got a lot of things going on. He's capable like that. He's very capable like that, but he also appears to be, possibly corrupt. So here's the other side of that story. We're taught about the free market system just for capitalism to do the opposite. Yeah, hundreds of billions of subsidies. Maybe you can explain what you mean there, Buzan. Maybe you can explain what it means a little bit, and yeah, help some people see your point of view. What do you think is the most corrupt thing about Donald Trump? Hey, Chopped, great to see you. Happy Sunday morning. The most corrupt thing, yeah, I think the fact that he can take so much on, that it's gotten to the point where Donald Trump's his business dealings don't really have distinctions between his political life and yeah, and I think it's gotten to the point where when we see like Trump organizations have gotten debanked, we see Trump charities have had their entity status taken away for breaking the rules. I think the most corrupt thing is Trump intentionally or accidentally goes so fast and so big and with so much that he believes he can break the law, right? And so it's kind of like seeing a NASCAR, like a Michael Schumacher F1 car or whatever it is. If you saw somebody driving on the street and they're swerving and they get pulled over, and they said, "Well, you're speeding and you're swerving, but the main thing is you got out of line. The main thing is you crossed over the lines, the dividing lines, you ran a red light, these types of things. What's going on?" And if you say, "Well, look, my car's street legal though," and the officer says, "Well, that's not why I pulled you over." This is to me kind of like Donald Trump's sense of corruption, is that, I don't need, even though it may be the case he's intentionally cheated, he intentionally planned to become a Bitcoin billionaire before taking office, which would be incredibly corrupt and probably illegal. We also, he's profiting from his office, from the office of the presidency. We can just say, yeah, you behave badly enough that you're not my kind of guy, Mr. President. You're not my type of president. You've cheated the people and you don't care about people getting sick on your watch. Somebody thinks being a socialist is a trend. Being a socialist is a trend. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you would expect. I don't know what you would expect if you have a different solution to big problems in the world. Oops. There's my big butt sitting back down. You'd have to let me know. Hey, Eric Otessen, good to see you. Like California and the train. Yeah. Hey, Tammy Schaefer, his lies, the theft of almost 4 billion, ignoring the freedom of the press and First Amendment, etc. so much. Yeah. Yeah, those are also really bad. Those are great answers from my opinion too. So much, yeah. The fact that there would be even one person denied freedom of speech or freedom of the press is horrendous. Free assembly, that's pretty frightening. Donald Trump saying that a bunch of 20-something and 30-something political activists are somehow a threat to a nation of 350 million that's making 15 million barrels of oil a day is absolutely insane. Just to internalize that for a second. Hey, 6 cents, great to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Our first mod of the day. There's no checks and balances with the US government. Yeah. Yeah. You're interested in the Israel topic, and so seeing $15 billion going to Israel AI capabilities and saying that this region that cannot conduct diplomacy is just under securitized. It seems like when you see like almost like an L shape, like there's two sources of a problem sometimes. Yeah, maybe a rapid shift in the political climate may be a problem, but it's not a problem because of constitutional rights and liberties, right? It's a problem because people are getting evicted. They can't pay student loans. They can't live, right? There's people literally that can't live in the United States. There's mental health crises and stuff because of it. Um, and so, to me, and Israel's sort of the same way. When we unconditionally give money to a foreign government, why is that? Hey, what's going on? Peace always for us all. Great to see you. How's you, man? I'm doing good. How are you? It's been a minute. Great to see you. Can anyone speak Armenian? Hey Vikas, I don't speak Armenian. I don't know how to speak the language, but aloha and shout out to you. Yeah, shout out to you. I want to do hey, what's going on? Prithvik, good to see you. Exactly, well said. Hey, thank you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm surprised, and maybe this is part of my problem, but I think when we're unable to address crises in the world, our political situation gets worse. So I want you to check out the poll results. If you need to scroll out and come back to refresh it, I'll just tell you to, but only 11% want to hear about wildfires ravaging over 250,000 acres in Washington state. And this is coming after we've heard about thousands of fires burning in Europe, on our continent in Canada. So there's thousands or tens of thousands of forest fires right now, and you ask if that's a big number, and most people would say yes, that is a lot of fires. The earth is literally on fire right now. And so what I don't get is if we can't address Trump being a crypto fraud, but we also can't address when the planet's literally burning down. What kind of politics are you going to get out of this? What kind of politics are you going to get out when you can't take on the big issue? I don't think it's a good one. Canada did this. Canada's burning itself down like that. Yeah. Yeah, Canada doing this. Canada's burning itself down. How how so, right? How so? Humans are the best. We are the best species and then the most inept, right? As soon as we say we're the best, we also become the most inept. As long as we say we can think about anything and do anything, but we're not thinking about the right things, we're the best and we're the most inept. It's wild. Apart from a complete U-turn on almost everything he's done and doing, why would you ask POTUS? What would you ask POTUS to do prior to the next general elections? Yeah, I would ask the president to lay out not his vision for the rest of the world, but to lay out his vision for the United States. I don't think he's done that, saying that we're going to be a nation of zero immigrants and we're going to have Trump accounts, and then everybody gets what? What comes next? Everybody gets a paycheck. Everybody has health insurance. Everybody gets a shot at a decent education. Everybody can be informed and in the know about while they can afford to live, about what else they can do to pursue the American dream. people can address their values freely in a society without being afraid of political prosecutions. Um, I would ask I would ask what the Trump doctrine is for the United States. If he's going to act like he's got Trump doctrines abroad, um, that's what you should do, right? Before 2026, if you want MAGA politicians, just be honest. Tell people what you want to do, and don't lie about it. Don't lie about it. Make it stress free. Just cut to the chase. Cut to the chase about where all this stuff is going. People used to do controlled burns. We did a girls' night yesterday. Yeah, last night, our Saturday night stream, we did a girls' night dance party. My phone can charge up for battery. By the way, I'm gonna set up a goal just to be a little bit selfish. I got to start a super chat goal. At some point, I'm going to need a new cell phone. And you guys know how streaming is. Some of you might, these goals take not a little bit of time, but a lot of time. So I'm going to set up a $20 super chat goal for the stream. And if you guys want to help me out on the goal so we can keep doing more Saturday night dance parties and I don't have to charge my phone for 45 minutes just to just to flip it on anymore. Yeah, I'll play some, maybe we'll play some morning music in a little bit here. Hopefully it'll be a little good. Maybe we can make a new morning coffee playlist or something like that. But yeah, Jesus is God. Of God's here by I confirm my identity from OBC Hindu to Orthodox Christian. Cool. Congratulations. There's your point. And yeah, welcome to the stream. Yeah, everybody from all faith traditions are obviously welcome here. So that's going to be a unique testimony as you continue your spiritual journey. You're not so bad when you don't talk politics. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, what's going on, Sizzle? How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome back to the stream. We shouldn't be divided over something that you're great when you, I hate when people, yeah. Hate people who shill for either party. Yeah, I don't want to sell all of myself. This is how I see this one. This is an important grown-up concept, is that I can compress myself so small to do something, right? If I have an important job at work or something like that, I can take in more information, and without too much granularity, at some point I can compress or expand myself to become a person in some sense. Hey, Sizzle, we don't need to be timing people out right now. I don't think anything's happening right now. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. And so, can I get a job, bro? Give me a job. Struggle boy, no. I don't have a job. I wish I had any of them jobs. But yeah, if I could get a job, I could expand. We can talk about it in a little bit and compress myself. I'm going back in chat. Cool. Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty chill. It's just yeah. And so, but yeah, people shilling for one party kind of put this perception on that, we're not ultimately taking more and more on, and then ultimately giving ourselves over to that issue. And I don't trust Democrats. The Democratic Party seemed to get behind Graham Plattner, who just didn't need to run for office. a lot of other people. Gavin Newsom can be done with politics after being governor, in my view. There's lots of people and lots of stories which are imperfect in an imperfect world, and that just doesn't need to exist in politics. We don't need to make excuses for people. So I have a lot of affection for the independents and for people that just aspire and vote by their values and go by that. Christian has world exposure. Hey, thanks so much, Wojak. We got some stream hype. Tell me something. I wish I could tell you something. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you or whatever it is. Yeah, I will tell you Christian has world exposure, so it's deserved worldwide presence. Yeah, this is a common argument from the religious right. A common argument for the religious right is that is we're able to extrapolate from the fact that there's large communities of believers that the faith must be true. But a big difference is that not all billion Christians in the world, not all billion people who profess Christian beliefs believe the same thing. It's actually quite diverse, quite different, and it's very culturally relative. Their lifestyle, like our lifestyles, our values, things like this. What's politics, what's not. And so saying that there's a billion people that agree that Jesus is the only path to heaven, that's the only commonality. So what are you ultimately professing? What are you ultimately able to profess? I don't think it's an orthodox Christianity view. Based on your justification, right? Because there's not a billion Orthodox Christians. There's not a billion Orthodox Christians. And so you're just talking about converting people to Orthodoxy. It's all about environment, point of view as curing earth. Yeah, I mean, we can have spiritual and irrational beliefs about the earth, right? One example of that is just that the earth is a weird place. You don't ordinarily in the universe see a planet which has trillions of life forms, billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, trillions of different organisms living on it, whatever it is. And so there must be things we don't understand that are weirder, stranger than fiction, right? That's like a religious or spiritual belief. What is your other Christian option that has more population? Yeah, what is it? Christianity, Hinduism, or Islam? You've got those three, don't you? You got those three. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I am going to see if we have. Hopefully you guys still have me on audio a little bit. I'm going to go ahead. Audio is good. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and put on our a couple morning songs. I'm going to go grab myself a cup of coffee. I'll be back in just a couple minutes. And yeah, as always, if you want to support the stream, small super chats and large super chats help me enormously. So here's a little coffee morning music and enjoy the stream. Happy Sunday morning, everybody. My name is Ducker Nathan. Happy Sunday morning to you guys. going on, everybody? Welcome back. As soon as you start to yell and scream to force others to be that same religion, you're going against Jesus's teachings. Yeah. Yeah, and I, it's not just yelling and screaming. Yeah, it's forms of coercion where you're saying that your point or your belief is larger or better than someone else's. I think that's also that also qualifies as a form of coercion. And it becomes more obvious in scenarios where, like, if you were to tell a grieving mother who's not thinking about her beliefs or something, or a grieving father about your version of the gospel, some people might say you're comforting that person. Others would say, well, you're gaslighting them and threatening them into a belief. Or somebody, right? The other famous one is people that's suffering from behavioral health issues like addiction. You say, well, I can help cure you of your addiction. Doesn't that sound good? But you have to be religious in order for me to do that. Am I held as a hostage? No, I don't. Where are the documents? Where are the documents? Where are the hostages? Let's go ahead and I'm going to make another. Let's see if we can pull something off up. We're going to do. Yeah, maybe it's too much, too little. I don't know. I like it, so I'm going to play some music. Helps me, I guess, and we'll see if we're right with it. We'll see if we're right in the eyes of the Lord. In the eyes of Satan. 6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7 6 7. Lead by doing and not by voice. Yeah, but what are you leading, right? That's still my challenge. My challenge is, what are you actually leading, right? For people that want to do good works or something, which is the most important part of the gospel, in my opinion, it's not by professing a faith and using empty words to profess that faith, right? It's a little more substantive than that. I think it would be a little more substantive, but I could be wrong. He said, show love and care by not he said. So you're talking about arguments from authority. If you show love, it is louder than words. Yeah, but you're talking about authority, right? That, to me, if that helps you, right? I think right, to me, it seems like you're trying to say, he said, show love and care. And so we fall into this very comfortable fold of what Jesus or God said. And when we fall into that fold, we can see it's so obviously true. And that's just not the case. It's not obviously true for a lot of people. There's discovering what it is to show love or to be like love. Some people might say, well, I have that. I know it. I have it. But a lot of people don't have that. Two, a lot of people would say, well, it's actually really complicated. It's really complicated. unless you make it super simple. And so it's great that that helps you, but I can do the same exact thing outside of that fold, right? You know, when I have money, I can drop a $500 donation to mothers in Gaza or something, right? That's an example of showing love. When I have money or time, I volunteered at the clothing bank when I was younger, when I was a kid. I can have my recurring 20 something dollar donation to, something like that. So those are right. Support charitable causes, give selflessly, give time and stuff like this, right? I don't know if it's meant to be a unifying message, but it just in the context of the conversation we're having, it seems like there's a sense of superiority that's stuck around that's not supposed to be there. It's not supposed to be there. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Why are your tax dollars causing hunger in Gaza? Children eat once in 3 days. Very sad. Very sad. Wow. Wow. Whoa. My pronouns are she and it. Cool. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. This is one of the challenges with superiority and supremacy too. With the climate of not just identity politics, but religious extremism, right? Religious extremism, this need to always create only the most hospitable environment for religious thought and religious belief. The need for psychological comfort and safety to soothe over gaps in our religious belief and things like this. It's not about it. I don't even know if I have to deconstruct someone telling me their pronouns. The most harmless form of an identity. I can say I'm a cis white male, but I don't know. And this isn't to make that person feel uncomfortable. It's the opposite. It's saying that, we have all kinds of completely harmless self-beliefs. It's absolutely wild. Yeah. Piccolo had father energy raising Kohen. Nothings. We always need a purpose. I'm sure you've noticed that too, says Amine. Well, I don't know that person, right? It's a joke. That's not a joke. If somebody wants to identify as she, it, you're absolutely allowed to identify however you want, right? Saying that this is a part of my identity is just hopefully creating a comfortable space for that person so we know how to communicate. But the opposites, right? But the opposite side is when somebody says, well, look, I'm a Christian and I'm going to be Bible thumping in chat for the next 30 minutes without asking if anybody wants me to do that. You're obviously welcome to. If you want a Bible thump, why don't you ask if other people want to hear apologetics or something like that? But it's disrespectful. It's almost like I'm going to get my good deeds out. I'm going to get my allowances. I'm going to get my allowances from the Lord out here so I don't have to worry about that the rest of the day. Hey, what's going on, Valorous King? Great to see you. One of the coolest PFPs on YouTube. What, I support that gender nonsense? I don't have time to not support it. That's one answer, is I just don't have time to yeah. I mean, I'm not completely in the dark as to why these are coherent as coherent or more coherent identities as to anything else, as to Jeff Gordon saying he's a NASCAR driver, Michael Schumacher saying he's F1, MJ saying he's basketball. Those are all coherent ideas and stuff too. But yeah, I don't have time to go deeper into deconstructing whether or not it's just the case that, yeah, gender and sex and sexual identity and gender identity are made up concepts. Hey, what's going on, John? Am I your sister? I don't think I'm your sister. I don't think there's anything in the world to evidence that. Ronaldo or Messi? Answer the question. Oh boy, I don't know. Who did better in the World Cup? It would be Messi, right? So it'd be Messi. Hey, Deepak Singh. I don't particularly, I'm sorry for that, but shout out to you. Good to see you. You guys are always welcome to say what's up in chat, and I try to, it just happens. We've got about 2,100 subs. I do pretty good remembering some people, so. Earthquakes, war, disease, and food shortages. What's happening to our world? Yeah, we're skipping the most important stories. We skip the stories where people are substantively, the high stress stories where people are actively promoting oppression, where people are inviting opposition to exist. I miss you, sis. Oh, thank you so much, John. Hey, maybe I am your sister. It says it on the screen now, right? It says it in light blue. So thanks so much, John. Appreciate the very generous $2 super chat. Thanks. E. Do I practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I was never that tough. I wrestled a little bit. I'm as tough as having wrestled. I'm not as tough as having done BJJ or deeper forms of mixed martial arts. Just have not. I have not. I have tried, but I have not. I have tried and I have not. Laying in bed all day long is a blessing. Yeah. Yeah. Having a nice charged phone. I watched a little Full Metal Jacket. It's at least where I am in my geography, it's free on YouTube right now. So I watched a little of the old war movies. Thank you. We try. American high schools have a lot of wrestling, huh? Yeah, I think almost every school has a wrestling team. It's an important sport for people that can't play other sports. There's football. There's sometimes football players that wrestle in the off season for conditioning and stuff too. A couple years or something, 1 or 2 years of really tough football or wrestling practice. Good thing for boys and girls to do a couple years of really tough practice, tough practice. And yeah. It is not. That is not. Yeah. I'm not a big or a huge marijuana advocate. I may have inhaled back in college is my politician answer. And yeah, I tend to think that almost anything can become an addiction, right? Your partner was an offensive lineman? Nice. Oh, big guy then. Probably a big guy, I'm guessing. Unless your partner was a big guy on a JV team, you're probably a big dude. I didn't have a lot of fun with that. I didn't have a lot of fun wrestling up weight classes and stuff like that. So that would have been, you would have been horrifying, terrifying for me. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, small content creator 18? Great to see you. Shout out. You definitely inhaled something and it stayed with you. Yeah. Yeah, permanent brain damage from, no, whatever. Whatever works for whoever and whenever. Good, cool. I like being able to focus and be sober. Sobriety, right? Sobriety, this isn't judgment for people who smoke weed. But yeah, it's not the same thing as sobriety, so. I maybe have an answer. I hopefully have an answer to whatever the question is. To whatever the question may be. I wish I was from America, but I stay in Canada. Cool. Should I change my PFP? I think it's good. It's colorful. It's eye-catching. Eye-catching. It's eye-catching. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. You don't seem to. It doesn't seem to go with the Valor is King username, but it's just, yeah. You and Underboss have very recognizable PFPs. We are in respect to the end of the world. Where are we in respect to the end of the world? Oh boy. Well, with Trump's press tour, Marco Rubio talked to Laura Trump yesterday in a Fox News interview and said that the Iran war has agreed to, the technical wording was they agreed to the framework or the boundaries of what a deal would be. They said, hey, the conversation is, hey, the Strait of Hormuz will be opened. There'll probably be conditions where Iran gets some billions of dollars paid back. There'll probably be some conditions where they agree to buy less weapons or have some constraint on arms trading or something like this. Who knows? Whatever's going to make it or break it is probably all contained in the discussion and negotiation. And so hopefully we're a step back from the actual end of the world. Is the son of perdition? I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. Trump, Epstein here. War pushes the topic off the files. Yeah. Maybe. Not biblical, are you? I'm not biblical, but that would mean I'm guessing. I'm guessing probabilities, which I'm not qualified to do. I'm not religious. Hey, there it is. Another bright PFP. There you go. That's pretty cool. Should I turn the music down? Should I turn the music down or up? I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. Good look. Hey, good look. I appreciate the look. It looks nice. Can I be a mod? You want a mod here? We'll add you as a moderator. Just our rules are, hopefully this isn't like the longest troll ever. No, I'm kidding with you. But yeah, we don't do hides on the channel. Hey, we got Crunchy Biscuits in chat too. Crunchy could mod here too. Crunchy always behaves themselves. Behaves himself as a beret. No, but yeah, we try to steer people back into TOS. We remove messages. We'll do 10-second timeouts to delete messages. And if people are spamming or continuing with racialized ethnic speaking or disrupting chat, at some point me or someone else will usually do the 24-hour timeout. But yeah, absolutely. It's great to have a strong presence on the channel with moderators. Sixth Sense is a new mod on the channel, and yeah, we always enjoy seeing people. I love the peace sign emojis, love the color. It's all great. It's all great. Yeah, it's all good. So shout out to you guys. Cool. I will never give anyone 86K. Yeah, you'd probably just start debating with them. You'd say, hey, you want to see what happens? You want to see what happens? Yeah. You've got a little thuggish. Yeah. You got a little bit of that thug life attitude in you. Man. I can probably tell you this. I'm still jonesing a little bit because someone gave me someone dropped a red super chat on the channel. So I'm having a cup of coffee and I was like, yeah, I feel a little motivated to go stream. If I have a tape, then I use it to wrap the duck's mouth. Hey, let's leave me speaking. Let's leave me speaking. I'm an idiot, as you already know, ducks. Yeah. Right. Right. I'm gonna go grab one more small cup of coffee. We'll throw on the, let's see which one of these. Maybe we'll see if we want to transition. Thanks for being patient with me while I fuel my coffee addiction. And yeah, we'll put one more tunage on, and we got folks from all over the world. So for my friends in Australia, Europe, Middle East, India, Bengali friends, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys are having a decent day, a good Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. And I'm gonna, all something he did with it. Yeah. And I'm gonna be right back, and I'll see y'all later. Bam, 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 bam. What's going on, Rajaim? Hello, hello. Shout out to you. Nice. Little bite-sized German EDM, folks. Hey, what's going on, David Solomon? Great to see you. Hey, yeah. Thank you. Great to see you. Shout out to if there's any other channel members, and especially David Solomon. Yeah, we're celebrating Valor is King, new mod ship, new PFP. It's a great day. And yeah. I missed your message before, but Valor is King. Yeah. We had a little bit of the German EDM. We're just doing the sweet life, the good life. Yeah. We're doing a little bit talking about which story people want to discuss. 36% of people were asking about Trump anti-money laundering probe. So this is from Capital One closing multiple of Trump's accounts not related to political dealings. And the story, it's an old story, but it popped back up in the news cycle today after the Trump family has sued Capital One, saying these were political closures, and Capital One is saying just the nature of the story. They said, well, what actually happened? Hey, thanks so much, Best Cat Vids. We got the new special gifts in chat, the hiding. Yeah, and so, Capital One is saying that the actual series of events, the things that happened, was that there was a anti-money laundering review, and they found patterns of transactions. So probably transactions just under $10,000 coming from certain sources that didn't seem like random business dealings, seemed to be skirting oversight. So they closed the accounts. Terry versus Ohio. Hey, what's going on, Overturn Terry? I don't know about that. If I can know about it, shout out to you. What's going on, Sovereign? And so, yeah, and so seeing that there was maybe specific business practices that the Trump businesses were undertaking to avoid banking regulations is what Capital One is saying triggered the closure of Trump's other accounts. This is kind of like when we say Donald Trump holds on to a lot of different projects. He plays kind of fast and loose. Case versus Montana. Maybe if you want to drop something in chat for people that are a little, that are able to understand without having to have read a bunch of case law or go into legal documents. Not everybody likes reading legal documents. Not everybody thinks, has that level of knowledge. So if you want to introduce that, but yeah, so we're seeing Capital One basically fight back against this Trump lawsuit publicly, saying that this is standard procedures and that Donald Trump, in fact, appeared to be running businesses that don't have standard procedures, and that even after you sort of mitigate for just things people may have said or done while investigating the Trump business, while running just regular account audits, there appears to be still this pattern of transactions that tried to avoid and go around banking regulations. So that was the most popular vote. This story, those were the things that were happening in this story. 38% say that we just want to talk Iran, bicker a little bit, hang out. And so we'll go with that answer next. I just wanted to cover that one story while you guys are here. Walls are closing it, and you're talking about the puppet show. Yeah, some of the other larger stories that we were wanting to talk about too is just the enormous number of wildfires around the world. Yeah, everything, right? Everything at some point, you can trace it back to oil and energy interests. You can trace it back to corruption that stems from corruption toward the good, that stems from whatever social goods we have, that comes from our insane need for energy, greed, wealth, our obsession with security, our obsessions politically that people say is insurmountable. You can't get over them. So we're going to touch on that one just a little bit, and yeah, and that's it. But yeah, I think we should be able to recognize big stories too, Overturn Terry. I don't think I'm wrong for saying these are the three stories. The three stories, including Iran, is the fourth story that I'm prepared to discuss today. If you think I'm wrong, that's fine. Afton's offering $5 to shave the beard. If anyone wants to give $5 out of the goodness of their heart, you're welcome to do so, but I'm probably not going to shave on stream for $5. Yeah, I told you guys for a max super chat of $4.99, I'll just shave where I am and I'll humiliate myself. I'll get my hair all over me and you'll see a much shorter version of the beard. So if you want to see me humiliated and you also want to help me buy a cell phone, you can send a red super chat. But yeah, you guys know how it is sometimes saving up for cell phones is on a streamer budget can take, it's a weeks or months thing. So if you guys want to help me ensure I can still go live and stuff like that and afford the cell phone, you guys can consider even small super chats, gem gifts. Those things all are enormously helpful. But yeah, don't worry about it. We chillin' too, right? I'm saying we chillin'. We're okay. Sell the microphone. That's the next thing. The next thing, famous duck famous duck words. I'll sell the microphone on Facebook, or I'll trade it for a cell phone. What phone am I saving for? Well, I have a budget Samsung phone which I really like. Highly recommend. It's lasted a long time. It's very capable. I have a budget Samsung A16. I paid about $140 for it. I bought it before inflation went through the roof, and including electronics. So yeah, I think after tax, I paid about $140 for this phone. And my dream phone right now would be the Samsung A37, which is, it's about $450 before taxes now. $450 before taxes at Best Buy. But I'm looking at phones that are cheaper as well. But yeah, I would like a phone that has a little more RAM for the video editing I do. Something a little more capable front camera wise, so I can make sure all the videos I make in the shorts are actually 1080p. And yeah. But the A17 and A37 are the two I'm looking at. I'm also looking at the Motorola G Power. The Motorola G, it's got decent RAM, good chip, good cameras, stuff like that. Good battery life. An A20e, cool. Oh, dang. Yeah, that sucks. Hey, thanks so much for the hiding. No, you're good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope people don't feel pressured or stressed yet. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's free to tap the like, subscribe, free to just say what's up in chat, and I try to read comments. And yeah, appreciate any of the stream hype. Hey, Indian Monster 21, what's up? I'm curious to see what your beard looks like short. Oh, maybe I'll do the trim session later today. I'll just go do it in my free time, right? Not humiliate myself on stream anymore. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, but one thing being a streamer has taught me about cell phones and computers is to think about the device lifetime. So one of the things I've done with my A16 is I use battery saver mode. I have the battery protection on, kind of thinking about my own future and the future in general. So it's something I recommend, is going into settings, and you can do things like I won't charge the phone past 85%. I won't charge the phone to full capacity because that's supposed to extend the battery life. Try to, not being so neurotic as to close all my apps like immediately and stuff like that. But yeah, that little stuff, having my Chromebook off when I'm not using it, not just on 24/7, flipping other lights off and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm looking for a Nokia brick to stop the spying. Yeah, they do have those privacy phones. You can look on Amazon. There's all kinds of niche phones that didn't exist before. It's not just like the foldable ones. Those are cool. The folding phones are really cool. I think Motorola makes the most ones of those, where you have almost like but there's also security phones and work phones and stuff like that. Yeah. The Stormtrooper in the background. Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. It's very cool. Security is mostly a lie. Security is mostly a lie. I think Donald Trump mostly lies. Donald Trump is mostly the one who lies. Hey, Donald Trump is the big liar. I don't know what you want me to say about it. You guys got points to make. I like to talk to people. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. 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 Yeah, but that would be my goal, is my next cell phone. I hope, even if I'm streaming almost all day on it, hopefully keep going on the channel for the next few months, see where we can get to. If this can be a full-time or a part-time thing for me, then, if I can have a device that's going to last me as a work device 24 months or longer, that would be super, super helpful. So just kind of looking at the quality, the brand, and yeah, making sure I'm not abusing that privilege of having a great cell phone. I've heard the Galaxies are nice, but there's no way. Yeah, Biden was a liar. I wouldn't use half the tools on the Galaxy either. I wouldn't use half the tools they built. I really just want a device that I can stream, edit videos on the phone. And yeah, those are the two functions I actually need. So yeah. When has Trump not lied? Yeah, Trump's been on it. He's an honest liar. He's a liar who's honest, or an honest liar, um, which is one of the reasons I didn't vote for him for president. Right? He did threaten Iran with violence very publicly, and then went and did it. He's just very extreme. He likes downplaying risks of what he wants to do, and so yeah. Favorite shows from my childhood. I was talking Batman Beyond the other day. What else? I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! I did watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day. Um, but yeah, those were good shows. I didn't have cable, so whatever WBN had, whatever Warner Bros. Network, I think, is that what it was? Yeah. I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my dad at night times and stuff like that, so I remember that one. Wonder Days? Hell yeah. Yeah. Trump 2028. Hey, he's even if he's a lame duck after 2026, he's going to have 2 years. He's going to have 2 years to do whatever he wants to do. I have to buy 3 phones every year. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's wild. It's wild. You're literally just calling politician businessman a politician businessman. Large success in both areas are always accomplished with deception. Maybe, maybe. It could be, just the size and scope of the lie. But yeah, I think there are people that try to package truths that others need to understand and discuss. Sam Altman of OpenAI. I know you guys, some people here are going to be really ticked off about me mentioning Bezos or Sam Altman. But if we talk about what OpenAI is, I bet you guys know more about OpenAI and Amazon just intrinsically than you know about Donald Trump, our president's business dealings. I think you guys know that OpenAI builds commercial models and they all for businesses, and then they also let you use AI whenever you want. You can download an app and use the best AI model on the planet. So you have OpenAI and then Amazon. You can order anything. You know that when you upload a video online, it's probably stored on an Amazon server. So you guys know at least all those things about Amazon and OpenAI. What do you know about how Donald Trump is trading cryptocurrencies, or how Donald Trump knows people in the defense industry? You can't name a time Trump has lied. Yeah, he talked about being a president of peace, right? That's a massive lie. He talked about being a president of peace while talking about bombing Iran and stealing their oil. That's not a peaceful person. So I know that one. That's a lie. Donald Trump always exaggerates, which is a lie, for about how successful the Trump business empire is. He wants you to see him as a real estate magnate and this great deal maker. So that's another form of a lie. He recently, 2 days ago, I put this in my last video, he took credit for having veterans becoming truck drivers. If anybody in chat, and I won't even defer to you, I'll defer if anybody is a veteran in chat. Do you know someone that drove trucks in the military that's now a long haul trucker or works in supply chain? You do probably, right? You probably know at least one person or you've heard of it because 10% of our truck drivers are veterans. So taking credit for something that's already happened, that's also a lie. Taking credit for something that's already happened is a lie. You would be lying if you did that. If you saw yourself doing that, you would think of yourself as a liar or a deceiver. So it's a lie. Right? It's a deceiver. It's a liar. Talking about a closed border is a lie. Talking about closing the border is a lie. What is a closed border? There's no such thing that has ever existed as a closed border. So that's a fourth version of a Donald Trump lie. Where am I wrong on this? Has the ratio changed since Trump's presidency? I don't know. I don't know. Having a fence is a closed border. Okay, so having a fence is a closed border, promising Americans, deceiving, being deceptive, not telling Americans that you're going to have an immigration and border patrol that is spending more than 10%, like 10 to 17% of our national defense budget on a border. And so how you accomplished what you are calling a closed border is just spending a ton of money. That's deceptive. That's a lie. It's a lie. Point me out the clip, right? You said, tell me a time Trump lied. Point out the clip where Donald Trump said that, those stealth planes that we have, how we're always researching new science projects, how we're training 100,000 new guys in the boot camp, every 6 months or whatever it is. How we've got, thousands of recruitment offices. We only want to do 15% of that. It's just 10 to 15%. And these guys are going to be out on the southern border. When was Donald Trump honest about that? Wait, is Trump good or bad? You're British? Oh, Valor's King is British. Shout out to you. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, Donald Trump is part of our conservative. He's taken over the conservative party that we have. His value for Donald Trump's value as president is he's telling us that while our history, our culture, and our heritage goes very clearly to these new policy objectives. The things we talk about is closing the border, right? You have to have all Americans living in America. And why is this? Well, because you just can't imagine, you can't fathom that your family would be Christian and seeing Catholic Mexicans coming over the border. You would flip. You would have to flip when you see this. Absolutely mind-boggling. So these strange appeals, right? And then suddenly Donald Trump is best friends with mega church pastors. Donald Trump is, he's cutting deals, right? Because you're a good American, so you must know Boeing, Richard Branson, Rolls-Royce, these big companies making airplane engines, these defense companies, you have submarines in Britain. In the US, you have submarines, planes, trains, and automobiles. So, and so all of these are now American stories for the president. What? Yeah, it's deception. It's a lie. It's playing dumb. It's stupid. So, other people, there's always a justification. This is what Marco Rubio said too recently, right? Ow. Demonic Catholics in our country. Catholics are demonic. I was raised Catholic. I didn't mind Catholicism as a faith. Our border hasn't stopped anyone from traveling out ever. Yeah, you have to apply for a passport in the US, right? You don't get a passport by default. We don't have like a Schengen agreement or something like this where you can travel freely, like Europe has. Um, so you have to apply for a passport in the United States. Um, we need a secure border to keep out spies and criminals. Creating a war and manipulated other countries' economies. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Tony Lane? Great to see you. Shout out to you. Go get some air. Yeah. Yeah, I might do that. Unless someone wants to extend the stream with the goal. If somebody wants to extend the stream, I'll stay on for a little bit, but I might go try to hit the gym or something like that. Um, you know, we'll see if I can do that if I have the ability. Looks like the bikes and beards guy. Hey, I've heard that. I've heard that. I look like myself, I hope, but yeah. Being some European countries with agreements because they border each other. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I still have some of my health. I don't have a ton of it, but I got a little bit, so it's good stuff. It's great stuff. Great stuff, everybody. Yeah, but if anybody wants to be super generous and charitable and they can afford orange super chat, I'm doing my streamer thing where it's going to take maybe a couple weeks or a couple months to save for a cell phone. I'm not trying to buy the best device possible. It's just I'm going to need a replacement pretty soon, or a replacement battery on my phone. I'm going to need a new device soon. Either recycle this one or replace the battery out, or get a new phone, right? So I'm still deciding that. So if you want to help me with that, with an orange super chat gem gift, yellow super chat, pink or red super chat, those are all super helpful. Hey, no worries. I appreciate you guys just being here too. Faz unit, yeah, completely up to you. If you'd rather give to other streamers or other charitable causes or none of the above, that's completely up to you. Completely up to you. I'm not trying to use a crowbar. I'm not trying to use a crowbar on the channel to get money out of your pocket into my hand. It's just very helpful. Hey, thanks so much for the hiding gift. Thank you. Very generous, very charitable. Keeper B Games. Yeah, make sure you tell your mom. Yeah, no worries about it. No worries. I wish you guys had the funds too. All the money in the world. So no migrants need to stay in their place. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Raise the roof for Foz. Very generous donation. Sending some YouTube gems. Thank you. Hey, there's the laughing disco ball too. Awesome. Thank you so much. I can even react to these ones. When you guys send purple gifts, it pops up, it stays on my screen. This is what YouTube wants us to be like. Cool. Oh my gosh, the Unk alert too. Cool. Maybe I'm staying live for a little bit then. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very generous. Why do you get mad at Trump for getting money when you're doing the same? Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at Trump for getting money. I have a different sense of what honesty is like. And we got the high five on screen too. High five on screen. I think if Donald Trump is building an apartment complex and the reason it's so valuable isn't because it has every feature, right? Donald Trump says Trump Towers are the best. We're going to have every single feature possible. It's obviously there. Every feature that you could possibly wish for. What Donald Trump's actually doing is he's passing the risk of the Trump brand, the risk of any sort of investment or purpose out to people. He's passing it to the media. Thank you so much. Now, hugely appreciated those. Thank you for all three of those giant gifts plus the hiding gift. Thank you. Thank you. And so, yeah, I wouldn't, if I would, and this is just my own sense of morality. Maybe it's why I'm not a billionaire or a millionaire. But I would only want to go on the media, and if I was telling people something that was going to help them, spreading optimism, spreading good information that helps them make decisions for them and their families. I think it's a form of dishonesty and a lie to tell people that you are doing something good in the world when you're really secretly just trying to make yourself and your other investors wealthy. Because someone already knows that. Somebody already knows that the point of an investment is getting a good return on it, and that stuff is addictive, right? It's addictive. And so those that have not put restraints on themselves or source everything and assume there's a reason somebody wants to hear about what they're doing, I don't buy it. Yeah. Claiming Trump is honest tells all the story I need to know about you. What about you spreading not showering and wearing the same shirt? Yeah. I have three different yellow shirts. I have an ASU shirt. I have a ASU shirt. And I'll think about this. I'll think about the clothing I wear, the clothes I wear. I have a Nike shirt. I have a yellow ASU shirt, and then I have a plain yellow shirt. I have a plain yellow shirt as well. So, yeah, I just happen to have shirts from many years ago that I wear on stream that I'm comfortable. And so, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to be a good ecosystem player here on YouTube. Yeah, vaping's not good. Vaping costs money too. So all kinds of stuff in my own life when I'm grifting and begging for my own cell phone, begging online and stuff, I can try and hopefully help other YouTubers have a little dignity by just spreading positive messages, good vibes here. And yeah, I go live because I love talking to you guys, love seeing your chats come across and stuff like that. Yeah. Because we have values and fear the Most High. Yeah. It's a wealthy person has a hard time getting into heaven according to Christian theology. So, hey, maybe Michael, we got the new countdown coming in. Next countdown coming in. Great to see you. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Nate the Great 23? Why do I vape? What does it do for me? I think what nicotine does to any person, right? It's a behavioral health problem. I'm a nicotine addict. So there you go. Behavioral health, better than the alternative, which is creating urban legends and myths about what mental health or behavioral health issues are. Am I stoned high or high? No, we talked about that a little earlier in the stream. I told you guys I don't have judgment or anything about that like that about it, especially in the US where it is perfectly legal for adults to decide what they want to do with their body. But I have a little skepticism and cynicism about the industry itself. I don't think that should be news to anyone else. That's not that surprising, right? You guys can buy sort of like you can buy like bagged turkey sandwiches from the grocery store. You can buy bagged, super strong beers or whatever, the ganj, whatever you guys are saying, from the store legally in a lot of places in the United States now. But yeah, I think it's definitely just like a lot of other things. Somebody who has 4 beers a night might admit that they have a small alcohol addiction or big one. Someone might admit that, yeah, smoking also makes you that way. Hey, Cadence, welcome back. Only addiction is sleeping. I have one addiction, and it's Dr. Pepper. There was a shooting. I saw that news story, Michael. Shooting at In-N-Out in Idaho yesterday. Yeah, very sad. To me, I've noticed those stories a few days ago. It seems like there's a rise of just civil and social violence in the United States again. The Iran issue. Let's see here. In the UK, you can buy something legally there. Wow. Yeah, I hope Donald Trump has laid out a case that that Iran has agreed to the structure of a deal again, and so he's called off a series of extreme strikes in Iran he was planning, and so for my Indian friends, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, right? Sometimes happy, sometimes sad. We see a complex character in Donald Trump, right? Someone who was willing to plan violent attacks. He was willing to plan these violent attacks in Iran, and then he's calling them off as if it's a peaceful thing to do. So I hope the president has space to secure an enduring and long-term peace deal. And I'm not personally I'm not setting expectations or holding my breath or holding false beliefs personally. As a political commentator, that would be dishonest. America was founded and built with violence. Yeah, violence over many, many years, and also violence that outside of cities, right? You know, that form of story or narrative, I think, is very interesting to explore. And that the violence also had limits within Federalist documents, within political thought, within describing what governments at that time were like. And so that narrative, I think, is definitely because society is built on violence. Society can be said to be built on violence is important to explore and also find the counter examples within. You have general funds for the state. So there's not one actor in the United States except the United States who can conduct violence. The violence that is constitutionally allowed is limited by the Congress in the United States, right? You need a parliamentary vote to go to war, or whatever it is. Hey, in the United States, we need Congress's approval. And we've stated that we're an isolationist state. Donald Trump has absconded from that. So there should be some semblance of reasonableness and expectation set where violence does not occur, as well as where violence does occur. So it's very sad. I'm from the Southwest United States. I'm from a place called Arizona. America is far from the most violent country in the world, says Glenn Sharp. Yeah, we can look at, one of the founded accusations Trump could levy against Iran is ambitions to become a regional superpower. And if we look in the United States, where we have a large standing army, over 1 million people, that seems pretty violent, right? And you could see why countries compete somewhat arbitrarily, somewhat actually, over one's ability to raise and maintain well-equipped standing armies and militaries, right? In Full Metal Jacket, they talk about sending in the Marines, right? That this used to be the old political trope, or what you'd get told at boot camp is that, if Uncle Stalin or Uncle Hitler, he doesn't want to put his finger off the button, he doesn't want to let go of whatever he's working on. Well, the Marines love to hear that, right? That's the violence, is the Marines love to hear it. You got to have a little excitement. You got to have a little enjoyment in your life. And the U.S. Marine Corps is who's going to love to hear that, yeah, you're not really giving it over. Well, you're going to meet, maybe it's 4 of these guys, or maybe it's 400, but the Marines are going to go show you that you were right to say that. And so I think there is large levels of violence in the world. That's very violent function in the United States, and other countries have similar setups for their military. Please sing YMCA. 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 Whoops. I don't know how to take the goal down, but yeah, if you guys want to donate to the Amazer Cell Phone Fund, feel free. Very appreciated and grateful for it, but no need. The Boston Tea Party was $3 billion worth of household goods. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the Trump dance. Why does a grown man have toys? You could have fooled me. I have a Star Wars toy. I love it. I love my Star Wars toy. I also have a nice copy, a book a fancy kiddish copy with animated drawings of Harry Potter. And then I have some other books as well. You guys aren't seeing, there's my very sad bookshelf. I've got some books also here on my desk. I've got, this one's bad. If you want to see a violent person, right? If you want to know, he was a very violent person, Che Guevara. You can hear about his story. He held it to a violent worldview, and he was a violent person. He executed thousands of people that were in captivity, that he was holding captive. So he executed political prisoners, many of whom did some bad things, but not all of them, and he executed them all. So I'll be right back, everybody. I'll be right back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, Che, and one of the things Che thought, he was a revolutionary. So he thought that capitalism was like a cancer. Capitalism, very large system, very important system. Hey, that's allowed. That's allowed. We'll throw Glenn Sharp back in the chat. Well, I'll throw him back in. And yeah, Che Guevara was, he held this, he at least held to this view. Maybe you're talking about something else, that all of capitalism was like a cancer on society. It was like a cancer growing within, taking from society. And so in this view, if you see capitalists as having a little bit of this sort of structure to it or whatever, where people that were born or raised or taught, hey, you're good, born or raised or taught capitalism are this social ill, this bad social force. It's, I don't like using the word capitalism. Yeah, you got to be able to say the whole thing, right? It's capitalism. It's the financial system. It's our use of energy. It's how we choose to live. It's all these things, right? All of these things that may be dependent on one another and may not be totally intuitively dependent or independent from one another, right? So being a little smart about it. But when you say that system of dependence and independence is a cancer, that's really, that can be a little problematic, right? We should see that person probably holds to more difficult sort of views. Yeah, free markets are a great way people can decide things and consider those relationships for themselves. Free markets are also a way people take advantage perhaps of those weaker or with less than others. So Che Guevara was, again, though, a violent revolutionary is what he ultimately became. He was a medical doctor. And some might say, I can see we've got some of maybe my libertarian friends in chat, right? Other streamers, libertarian boys in chat, libertarian folks, but this view that we can decide dependent and independent relationships does live within capitalism. It also lives in social democracies and things like this, What doesn't live there is saying that, well, capitalism must be a cancer. So anyone with private property must be a cancer. You're an agent of cancer, these types of ideas. You could understand why, when you have power and influence and control, that's kind of a dangerous narrative. It's a dangerous worldview. It's all or nothing. It's a totality. And yeah, it takes power away from other people deciding things, I think. You know, I don't know how to flip this on. You guys, if you guys don't mind. Yeah. How do I find the soul or spirit, or is there something there? Something a little more finer, less fine grained. Hey, what's good enough for you is good enough for me as well. What's good enough for me is good enough for you, and hopefully good enough for you is good enough for me. We pay the bad guys in unity. Wow. Yeah. The Bible says we have a soul. Yeah. Keep them souls healthy. Keep them souls healthy. If you ever feel stupid, just think of poop for brain, shit for brain, Biden supporters, and it'll go away. Good. I'm glad we agree. Yeah. Yeah, but these topics like Che Guevara's life is one of the reasons we're an 18 plus channel. We can say shit for brains and stuff on here is, even though I wouldn't agree Biden was shit for brains, I think he was busy. I think he was busy in handling a lot of problems, right? Why else would President Xi from China meet him in San Francisco in his last year when he's no longer influential? It's very strange. Very strange. Thank you for the kind prayers, Blue Kodiak. Yeah, we're not a religious channel, but people of all faith traditions are obviously not just welcome here, but more than welcome here. Yeah. I do consider myself, I think individual rights and liberties and the nature of what being an individual is in a modern sense is the basis of society. It's the basis of a strong society. Right. So like here's just across the board, you maybe most people would disagree with mandatory military service in the United States for reasons of liberalism. People may also see that Iran becoming a regional superpower while taxing every dollar above $1,000 at 50%. So fueling corrupt politicians, not solving problems in housing or energy security. That would also be a problem. And something has to split the difference when we're unable to address crises as well. We're unable to address crises. Yeah. Yeah. So without saying that there's like a cancerous society in the US or a cancerous society in Iran, but seeing that there's some sort of locus of control, there's some soul or some driver of the way the system actually relates to each other. Definitely it's a huge important thing. It's a very important thing to consider and think about. And what happens when we don't address that part of the news cycle? What happens when we don't address the fact that there are good and bad things that happen? Trump turning on Jeanine Pirro. I think Donald Trump is an agent of chaos when he has too many things on his plate. An agent of chaos. I don't think he's going for more. Huge, big, gigantic thing that's important. Yeah, both. That's what I saw. I could be wrong.
I think it's important to address important news stories today. That's how I saw it. That's how I read it. So, hey, boss, both sides fund no matter what. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, my own sort of pathway down or whatever is that, my choices are not my choices as a voter are not totally dependent or independent from what else is going on in the world. If there's politicians that are addressing my values, I'm probably going to vote for them. Things like climate change. You can always ask for mod back if you want to do it. No, you're good. But yeah, if you want to mod again, just let me know. Valor is king. I think you did a fine job. You did a great job today. So yeah. And yeah, we just want to give people that ability to speak their mind, speak freely, speak honestly. And yeah, like I said, I'm usually pretty good. I think it's not because of values, but I think some of the language has been identity politics coded. So I'm not going to mod you right now. Right. I don't want like identity coded language informing our discussion or debate. I don't see that. Like, we have a lot in common, I think, but I just don't think it's quite there yet. It's just a mod. It's something fun to do on a YouTube channel. But yeah, I'd love for you to stick around, and maybe, who knows, maybe in the next couple days if we can align on some stuff, but maybe not. So but yeah, like, here's an example. I want to be a responsible user. I have a super chat goal for a cell phone. I'm going to be saving for the next couple weeks or months so I can afford a cell phone, either when the time comes that my phone dies completely, or it's the case I need to replace the battery, or it's the case there's a huge sale on a cell phone and I feel confident that I can afford it. I'm on that streamer budget. But that may also be about just how, well, when I tell the story about my new phone, I don't want to be like, well, I just bought a phone on Amazon. There's lots of people who do that, and they don't help people make better choices about cell phones or Chromebooks or laptops or PC desktops or AI computers. So that's an example where it's not independent and it's not dependent on anyone, right? It's just this thing that it's there. It's just there, right? It's there. Okay. And so, I want to, from my perspective, it's like, yeah, if I'm informed when I'm telling you about, right, this is why I'm getting a new cell phone. That's one of the things I'm so confident in, right? I'm so confident in there. I trust that so much. I trust it so much, and I should. Trust me, right? Trust me, okay? Do I have to do what the monkey in front of me does? You're wearing a Nike shirt, bro. Shirts made by slaves. Yeah. I have shirts made in India and Bangladesh, in China. Bangladesh makes a lot of the clothes, the like nicer clothes too. So I'm aware. I am aware of that stuff. I try to shop at Goodwill when I can. I don't mind going to the store and buying new clothes when I need them. If something pops out at me, I'll buy that. So maybe I'm too luxury focused to meet your standard of sustainability, and I try to be a good consumer in the United States. How's that? I'm a good consumer in the United States. Does that do anything for you? I'm supposed to beg for money for that reason. I'm a good consumer in the US. AI computers. Yeah, absolutely. With what do they call them? NUPs or something like that. People can buy PCs capable of doing AI training, hosting locally, stuff like that. So when we think of, like, you might think of a luxury gaming computer as like a $2,000 plus gaming rig that can play any game in 4K. It can run multiple applications while it's doing that. You can multitask and game in 4K. That would be like a luxury computer. but luxury AI computers can easily be $20,000 up, right? And it's like a business tool, it's a business device. You know, you'll have you know, graphics units as well as processors specially designed to handle AI tasks. So all kinds of stuff. But yeah, AI computers are like 20K plus, you know, for founders units, for special limited edition runs, you know, hosts, things like this. And you can do that. You could run an AI business out of, you know, maybe you're paying for someone else's model, but you're custom tuning it, you're hosting it, you're training it locally. And yeah, just like you would code locally on a, you know, you try and run at least segments of code, compile codes locally, you would be doing AI locally. I look like Jesus before he was a prophet. Cool. Jesus wasn't, cool. Yeah, nice. Hopefully a little handsome. I don't mind it. Everything is so interwoven, I can't escape it. Yeah. We are about at the 2-hour mark on the stream. Feel free to like and subscribe if you guys want to check out the most recent shorts, any of the most recent videos. I'm posting quick hits right now. Nothing long form. I know some of you guys like long form. You guys can ask for longer form videos. But yeah, trying to do some shorts, videos, stuff that you guys might enjoy, stuff that hits the algorithm if you guys want to support me there. That's cool. Sorry about that. Sorry, Leo John. I do too. Yeah, it's not great. But thank you guys so much. Anyone who donated on today's stream, I appreciate it. If you guys want to send a small donation out of the goodness of your heart, help kick me off the tubes to a bright note, feel free to do so as well. And yeah, we'll definitely be live either later this morning, later this afternoon, or later this evening. All right, which question was it? About modding? Is there... Valorous King supports abortion and wants to deport. He is really a Trump supporter like you. Oh, they are? I didn't see that. Why does Biden support? Yeah, because that sort of identity has nothing to do with U.S. property rights. It has nothing to do with classical liberal principles. In the U.S. as a culturally relative government, that's what NFL said. I didn't believe it, but that's what they said. So as the U.S. is a large free trade zone, and so when you say supporting gay people, saying that members of the LGBTQIA plus community should have the same rights as anyone else, that is a very American principle. You can look at, and what I'd recommend you looking at too, what I would recommend you looking at too is, I'd recommend you look at something like the antinatalism movement. You can even look at language, like old slang that developed in New York City back when America was in its golden era. We were booming. We're becoming a world superpower. There's always been the American culture of capitalism, property, all the stuff Donald Trump gets excited about that you may even support. And below it, there's always been people throwing accusations around about people being cultural or social revolutionaries. And it always fades. It always changes. It always evolves. It always adapts. And it always goes back up to that sort of property sense of things. So yeah. So if you want to donate, you know, I can fiercely defend views on both sides. I can fiercely defend someone like Zoran Mamdani if I want to, but I can also defend that, yeah, we're at best or worst, we're a progressive nation, right? At best or worst, You know? So, yeah. Cool. Shout out to you. Yeah. Yeah. Constitutional rights are just, constitutional guaranteed rights are just one part of civil rights movements. So, hey, what's up, J-Back? Great to see you. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Leo John? Yeah, I'll end the poll here. So that actually relates to one of the stories. U.S. LAPD officer records other officers using racial sexist slurs, and he ends up getting charged with a felony. He gets charged with a felony for recording other officers. So he filed an internal affairs investigative complaint for cops being racist, sexist, and bigoted. And then he ends up getting charged independently by prosecutors for a felony. So his lawyers are saying it's not independent, that this is retribution, and he's facing backlash for reporting a problem in the LAPD. There's a similar case where there was misconduct during a marijuana dispensary raid by the LAPD, and someone recorded it. An officer, these are law enforcement officers that recorded these complaints, filed internal affairs complaints, and what happened? They both faced, there's this wiretap statute that prosecutors are saying so apparently the LAPD is saying that we don't support whistleblowers. The LAPD is saying we don't really care about bigotry, racism, or corruption in our own police department. What we care about is that you file your complaint and we'll do the investigation. So business as usual. Business as usual. Ban marinara. Yeah, ban marinara, chat. All right, guys. We went a little bit over where I was going to go for today. Thank you guys so much. Consider supporting the stream financially in the future. Small super chats go a long way. So do gem gifts, sending gifts on stream, sending super chats. I have a direct donation link. If anyone wants to offer, help me buy a new cell phone, help me with streamer bills, whatever, I have a direct donation link via tip jar on my main page. So you guys can support me that way. And yeah. Where's his helmet? Hey, thanks, J-Back. I appreciate it. And yeah, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.